Good morning, everybody. Before we get started, trading involves risk. Do not risk anything that you cannot afford to lose. This stream is not a solicitation to buy or sell financial products, but it is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not follow my trades, as the YouTube stream is on a slight delay. All right. Nasdaq's gone ballistic. Application. Good morning. turn on a little bit of music this morning. Let's see how long Discord lets me keep that up before muting my mic. NQ's just going ballistic this morning. Good morning. Well, yeah, NQ just went ballistic this morning. What the fuck? YM's in a narrow, in a narrow state, so let's see what kind of power cables we can get off the open. Uh, well, we got about 10 minutes to the open. I'll take a quick break. I'll be back. Alright, let's see. I would like to see us come right into, push back into the midline of this breaker block, order block here. In fact, what is that? 698. I am going to go ahead and set a buy limit there from one contract. Let's see how well it holds up at the open. Um, Chris, can you hear me all right? Chris, can you hear me? Chris. Okay. Chris, where you at? Uh, yeah, we just created a 2-minute order block and a 2-minute breaker block inside of each other. We don't have, uh, well, we do have a fair value gap here as well. So I'd like to see us come down to 59 or 698, which is a midline of the order block and the breaker block uh, at the open, and then push off of that. I've already set a limit order to get into that trade in case I want to see if the open will just pop down to it and then respect it and take off. Uh, let's see, Chris, send him a text message. Oh, because I need him to be able to be ready on the trigger in case that actually does happen. We get a power bar off of off of that breaker block. Okay, shit. Oh, pretty sure my volume is turned all the way up. Yep. Okay. All right. Because he can hardly hear me. I'm gonna have to show him. I'm gonna step out of the here for a minute. I gotta start a quick uh, call with him. I'll be right back. Hey, can you hear me? Yeah. Down in the bottom left of your Discord, there's the little cogwheel for settings. Um, if you click on that and bring up your, hold on, let me share my screen real quick. Uh, oh, actually, you know what? No, click on, oh shit, you can't do it in here. When we're in uh, the other channel, because we're going to go back to, I'm going to go back to that in a minute. If you click on my icon, the little just click on my icon, right click on it, I believe. It'll bring up settings for me. Make sure that my volume for you is turned up all the way. Okay. All right. I'm gonna head back over to the other one. Okay. Well, we just got filled on our order. Um, Chris, don't go long yet. Well, he's not back in here yet. Okay. Get back in here, Chris. All right, there he is. All right. Yeah, if you just click on my box that's showing green and it says user volume, just make sure that you have my volume turned all the way up. If you're having trouble hearing me, that should help a little bit. Okay, cool. All right. We're waiting on the power candle. I'm already in the trade because of what I was expecting. Just kind of hold off just a minute before you go long and make sure this candle is going to close. Strong. I hate the fact that Nasdaq's dumping off like a son of a bitch because it's going to affect the Dow a little bit. Fucking Nasdaq went ballistic this morning and now it's going to fucking just dump. Oh, he does some shit. Uh, where was? Yeah, so that was down at, it was all the way down at 25,000 this morning. We still have not got stopped out of our trades yet. The breaker block and order block seem to be holding. See where this candle is going to end. All right, Chris, go long. Let's just see what happens here. This candle looks like it's going to close to the upside. There we go. There we go. Chris, let me know if it hits your target and you actually get out of the trade. Chris, go ahead and move your stop. Shit. Moving your stop, Chris, if you look at my screen, if you come over here to where your stop is, you can click and drag on that. Go ahead and move your stop to break even and then release. All right. Now I want to go ahead and let this see if this will continue. Uh, Actually, pull your stop down just below your 21. That'll at least reduce some of your risk there. Looks like we might get some continuation if NASDAQ can recover. What's your profit showing? I'm going to go ahead and add to my trade. Okay. Come on, NASDAQ. See, that's back up there. Up in here where it says position, um, and then it shows a number. What is your number there? That would be profit. Just you can keep yourself off mute so I can talk back and forth. Mm. Come on, YM, break the 25. Come on. There you go. There you go. Come on. Move my stops up to just below the 9. Go ahead and move your stop, Chris, up below the 9. We're not breaking that 25% level. I don't want to see that thing get broken. NASDAQ just hit the 200, so hopefully that'll turn the NASDAQ around. I don't expect us to hit all-time highs today with the news coming out tomorrow, but I want to get above. I want to see if this can get above the 25 DRT level. And then we'll look at maybe taking profit there. Come on, close green. There you go. We got to rebalance. No, no, shit. Come on. Keep your ass up there. Give us a couple more minutes. One or two more bars. Another one. Chris, go flat. I'm taking one off. Nice. All right. So we're getting kind of extended away from the 9 here. So we would expect a pullback at some point. So I'm just going to keep my stop really tight here, waiting for that pullback. I'm flat. All right. That may be the only trade we take today. Because again, I don't expect us to be breaking all-time highs right before non-farm payroll. We could get to the midline of this quadrant here before we get back to all-time highs. Which, Hazel, did you get a 5-minute board there? Not yet. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna just draw a fib here on this quadrant. Okay. Yeah. Well, the 50% level of this top quadrant is 46,925. We could possibly get up to that, and then reverse again and maybe head back down towards the 50% before tomorrow. Um, I just don't see the market makers pushing to all-time highs right before non-farm payroll. I would be extremely surprised if we did. I was looking up the earnings reports for the major stocks in YM. Looks like the last 2 weeks in October are going to be our biggest. Um, and I was looking at like the top 12 weighted stocks in the YM. Nvidia does not come out until middle of November, um, but Apple, Microsoft, Amazon all come out in the last 2 weeks of October. So last 2 weeks of October is going to be a lot of earnings for the YM stocks. Should be a couple of good weeks to trade there. Um, and I'll finish up the list and get all 30 of them on my calendar. So each day I'll know, uh, be able to report which of those are reporting earnings and if it's pre-market or post-market, or there's a couple that actually are going to be reporting during market hours. So then in the mornings when I go live, I'll probably when I ping everybody up in that message, I'll probably also put uh, who's putting out earnings that day, just so if anybody comes in late, uh, they can read that post uh, in the Discord and see what to expect. Well, I took a couple of losses this morning on NQ because I was kind of looking for that reversal just a little bit before the open. Too bad I didn't grab that one at the open too. That's yeah, 180 points. No, no, I hit my daily loss limit there. Uh, but then that YM trade this morning was $785. Pretty sure that's the only long I took on YM. Uh, yeah, it says two trades, but that's because I added to the trade. So that trade was $785 profit, which puts me at $310 profit for the morning. Yeah, I know. That's just I know that we're reaching into that top 4 hour DRT level right before non-farm payroll. So I would expect honestly to see you get a fair value gap to the downside of the 5 minute orb before I would see anything to the long side. But that's just my theory. And in fact, I really don't see the market moving much at all today. I don't know what the hell happened to NQ uh, for it to go ballistic during the overnight, but obviously the market maker said, "Oh hell no, we're going back to the daily open and probably sticking around there till tomorrow." It was a 120 point move off of the YM on the 20, and that was a 21 stop on the 2 minute chart. You had the down candle that closed right at the 21, and then the next candle was the power candle up. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. You might not actually get that gap until maybe even after 10 o'clock. Yeah. Well, as I said, again, today's just probably not going to be a good day to trade. I'm surprised we got that much of a move off the open. Uh, if I've got Chris set up just on YM, so he doesn't have any other charts up. If I was smart this morning, I would have been looking at NQ for a dump off because it had moved way too high to be the day before non-farm payroll. And sure as shit, I mean, we've got 180, 100, 100, 160 point drop on that right off the open. But we still made money. Yeah, I can see us bouncing around here at the 25 for a few minutes and maybe 10, 10, 15. Maybe you get your uh, fair value gap to the downside of that 5 minute orb. How long is that account going to take you? Uh, oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, you might. Yeah, I feel you there. Especially the first one. Now you're at the point where you can make money. It's going to feel like it's going to take forever. But we'll have some non-farm payroll. I mean, next week's going to be a good trading week. Uh, Everybody's going to be positioning for earnings in the YM, and we'll have the non-farm payroll out of the way. So I would imagine next week's going to be a pretty good week for you. Yeah, uh, wouldn't set if yeah if well if it sets up and you take it, I just wouldn't. I'd set my target at like 926. Uh, that's the 50% line of this DRT level. But this could also just be the lower high of the break of the 25%. But like I said, I mean, we could definitely go up to 926, the 50% of this level. I just don't see us making all-time highs today. Non-farm payroll is one of the biggest numbers of the month, so it moves the markets. I mean, literally, shit. Yeah, I mean, we've been in a range from 685 to 726 through the overnight. And the market just didn't move anywhere on YM in the overnight, which I'd kind of, what I'd like to see is this be just a little bit of a manipulation to the upside, then come back down, like you said, and take the London low, go below that range, and just kind of stay down there for the rest of the day, and then have the non-farm payroll shoot back up and stop everybody out on the way up. But I mean, 817, 820, if you get that fair value gap to the upside, you know, around the 830 levels, I mean, you're still looking at a really good profit on your runner, almost 100 points up to the 50% line if it moves fast enough and the trailing stop doesn't get hit. We did have another 21 stop, and then a color change off the 9 on the 2 minute. Uh, and Nasdaq's about to take out the Asian low. Order block and fair value gap right down there on the 2 minute at the Asian low. Oh. There you go. Well, I'm rooting for you. I'd love to see us get up there to the 50% marker. Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. Definitely could see definitely a possibility to see a win there. Hold the 25. Bounce up one more time. Get the Eagles profit. Then we can all be done for the day. Do it. You can do it. Break that double top. Break that double top. Go, go. The 50% DRT level, the 50% of the top DRT quadrant is at 926. So we're in extreme premium pricing right now. But if we can, 926 uh, is the 50% of this quadrant. So I wouldn't see us go any higher than that unless it's just a wick above it. But I wouldn't expect to close above that today. Come on, go, go, hit 900, go. Come on. Uh, there you go. You said you're just below 900? Okay, cool. Come on, you're only 4 ticks away. Go. Get back up there. Come on. Come on. Now go. There's a little gap up on the open of the next candle. Do it again. Okay, go. Go back up. That's a rebalance. Come on. Yep, there's the rebalance. It's actually a Lux Algo rebalance indicator as well. I love it. Come on. Go up and hit 900. Oh, 52, 57. Come on. Come on. 60. Break 60. Break 60. 30 seconds left. Candle. Oh, you bastard. Don't fall back below the rebalance. Close up there. Get up there. Fast. Close below the rebalance. Let's see where we hit between the 50% mark and the low of the quadrant. Oh, you bastard. You're going to hit the 8th. So make this easier and turn the quads into 16ths. Yeah, do that shit. Come on, bounce off the 9. We're going to break below that color change. Still hold the 25 maybe. So push up in the last 30 seconds of that Cuban. It can hold. About at 10 o'clock. Yeah, damn 10 o'clock reversal. Yeah, that was taking him out of the trade. Pretty sure. I think that was just fair value gap there. That would have just ticked him out. He was below the first bar of the fair value gap. Let's see. Let's 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was, yeah, closed outside of range. That was his gap. That was his entry. That could have been a stop, but he pulled his stop up a little bit to reduce risk, so he should be good. A smaller loss than normal, but alrighty. Well, I think I'm gonna get some short game practice in today. Uh, Maybe a little bit earlier, but yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna take any more trades. I don't expect much movement out of the market today. We got big. Yeah, we got. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. So you made 100 on that one and about 60 on another one. Awesome. Fucking sweet, dude. I, I, yeah, I get it. I get it. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. You can reduce. Well, uh, that you have to stop. Okay. You have only. Yeah, yeah. Um, just make sure your stop's in profit and you make money on that trade to the downside, but don't do that again. You have to wait for a narrow state and the power bar until you get good at one setup because the downturn isn't your setup. Okay. So until you get yeah, no, because you go ahead and close it for profit. Yeah. And so because the deal is, you know, once okay, once you were up there and you took the short side, you weren't in a narrow state. Okay. Right. So you have to, yeah. Um, don't do that again. The more you do that, it's going to become a habit. It's going to become a bad habit, and you're going to lose money. Get good at your narrow state setup first. There are times where you can take those trades, okay? But that's a different setup, and that's a different tool in your toolbox. But once you get good at one thing first, the reason Easel passed his eval and he's making money in his funded account is because he's trading one setup. That's all he does. Yeah, he has one tool in his toolbox, and he doesn't mess with anything else. Okay, until you get experience in the markets, you can't start adding tools. So please don't do that again. Wait for your narrow state. Make make your money off of that, and because I don't want you. I mean, you know, we've discussed this. We don't want you to go to the downside on your account. Okay. No. Well, yeah, well, I mean, no, you can take a short off the narrow state, but you have to be in a narrow state first. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So, just, yeah. I mean, you were just guessing off that because you had no idea. that that was going to continue downward. The market was going up. Just because you see down candles doesn't mean it's going to go down and you're going to make money. I mean, it could just be a small pullback and then shoot back up again, and then you just lost your profit that you made off the open, off the narrow state trade. Right. So, yeah, yeah, don't this. No, you need someone to hold your hand, dude. Trust me, you are brand new to this. You're not. No, no, no. I mean, that's what I'm here for. That's why I teach people. This is where the discipline comes in. Okay. You start taking trades other than your specific setup, you're going to lose money and you're going to blow that account. I can 100% guarantee it. Okay. So, right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. The the goal is to get you to a funded account, and the only way to do that is to follow this one trade setup every day, all the time, nothing else. Because I mean, you can look at the 2 minute chart right here, you know, from the open. We were in that narrow state. We got our power bar up. You know, you got into the trade when I told you to. You made money. Doom. Done. No more trading. Yeah. Yeah. uh, yeah. Because I will jump on you. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, yeah. It is. But number one, never get too excited over your wins, and never get too upset about your losses. Again, this is a process. This is one day does not make your year. Okay. So you just have to be even keel with the wins and losses, because the dopamine you get from the wins, you're going to want to chase that. And you've already chased it by taking the short. All right. And yeah, but that's a problem. That dopamine. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. I mean, this is a business. So if you've got a landscaping business where all you do is cut grass, why do you have a chainsaw in your truck? You're not cutting trees, you're cutting grass. Okay. So stick to your business. Don't mess with somebody else's. Okay. So because trust me, I've been there. We've all been there, done that. If you talk to every trader in this Discord, every trader on YouTube, they're going to tell you the exact same thing. When they got started, they started making some money because they didn't know anything about the market, and they got lucky and they made some money and they got the dopamine hit, and it just snowballed and they lost everything they had. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you're wanting to put more money, if you're wanting to put, see you later, if you're wanting to put, if you're wanting to put more money into new accounts and spend more money on new accounts, then keep touching the hot stove. That's all I'm saying. So, oh yeah, as I said, I will jump on you. Yeah. Well, yeah. The yellow. Yeah, the yellow is the nine. The only one's the blue and the red. So, um, but yeah, trust me. Um, I make things easy and I'm a really nice guy, but if you do something that you're not supposed to be doing, I'm gonna call you out, and I might get tough with you every once in a while. Well, yeah, I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna take trades while we weren't on the charts because you're not gonna be able to help yourself. But that is the quickest way to blow your account and have to spend more money. You know. No, a fair value gap is just an indication of where price has moved quickly. Okay. So, right, right. So we just printed this gap right here. Okay. This red box that printed on these three candles. This wick and this wick, there's a gap in between those wicks made by this big candle here. Okay. Price moved quickly through that price section. Okay. So there's orders that it's basically an imbalance because there's orders in there that weren't filled. Not every trader got their orders filled in that area because price moves so fast. So the market likes to rebalance imbalances. Okay. So at some point, you would expect us to come back and rebalance that gap by filling it in. Okay. So it's one way of seeing levels and areas of the market where price can either continue or reverse. Okay. But that's a lot deeper. That's a lot deeper thinking than you ever need to know right now. All you're concentrating on is narrow state, power bar, trade it. Okay. No, all this, yeah. So this chart on this, my Tradeovate chart over here is all you need to trade with. All this stuff you see on my charts, don't even worry about what it is, okay? Because that is a lot deeper thinking, and you'll get there. You will make money off the simple strategy and trade plan that I gave you. Narrow state, power bar, trade it. Okay? It's just two different assets. The NQ is the Nasdaq, YM is the Dow. It's just two different assets. Yep, yep, just YM. You do not want to mess with. We call it NASCrack uh, because it's like crack cocaine. It will addict you faster than anything. Yes, it's just fucking ridiculous, and it will wreck you faster than anything as well. Why it's the volatility. YM has a lot cleaner price action. ES has really clean price action, but it moves like it's like watching paint dry, and you wouldn't be good at that. Yeah, uh, I I'm not I'm not even 88 anywhere close to ADHD, and I can't stand to trade the ES. Okay, because it just moves. Yeah. So and yeah, and you move into what's called a funded account. Um, and right, say everything's the same. Your numbers reset. Okay, you go back to your $2,000 loss, have to make $3,000 uh, to get up there. And then right, once you get past $3,000, then you can start taking profits. And you leave that $3,000 in there as your buffer. And once you start making profits, you take half your profits. When you're eligible for payout, you leave the other half in to grow your account so that you can start scaling up eventually. And you just keep running from there. Then eventually you're making enough to where you can put it in into a personal account and not have to use prop firms. And then you're trading your own money. But that's way down the road. We're gonna be yeah. Well, I mean it's a personal choice, but prop firms are set up to make people lose. Okay, it's hard. It's hard to pass these accounts. It's hard to make money off these accounts for a long period of time, unless, like I said, you do. I have a prop firm account that has $60,000 in profit. Okay, now I don't trade that account very much because that's my lifeline. If I blow every other account I've got, that account I know I won't blow up. Okay, but it's in a prop firm. What if that prop firm goes out of business? You know, my money's gone. Okay, so you move some of that money into a personal account to where you have a personal account to trade, but it's a scalable business. You're starting from zero. I mean, you're starting to make plastic straws and you only have, one store that wants to buy them from you right now. Okay. But you gotta work with that, and then we'll build from there. Okay. Yeah, no, right now you are in a test account. The prop firm is testing you to see if you can make money. Okay, so nothing you make right now is going to go into a bank account. Once you once you no you right now you just have to make three. Okay, you have to pass the test. Okay, once you pass the test, then they're going to put you into a funded account. Okay, then you have to make another $3,000 before you can start pulling money out. Now, with the prop firms, you would be able to pull money out before the $3,000, but you're going to be playing by my rules because you want a $3,000 buffer before you start pulling money out. Because you pull out money before that, then you don't have as big of a buffer, and you could lose your account a lot easier. Okay. No, at three. Anything above three, because like I said, once you get to three in your funded account, whatever profit you make over three, you're going to take half the profit out for yourself. You're going to leave half the profit in there to grow the buffer. Okay. And then once you get up to like, yeah, once you're up to 5,000, now you can start scaling up. Instead of five micros, we're going to go to one mini. Okay. And your profits are going to immediately double from what you typically make on a trade. Okay. Much safer. You can't, you now I trade minis, but I've been trading for 4.5 years now. Okay. So I trade minis because I know where my risk is. I know what I can afford to lose. I know how profitable my system is. I know how profitable the system is that I just gave you to trade. You don't. You have to see it work. So you need to keep your risk small until you see the process working. Once you gain that confidence and get even just past your eval, Then you can start trading maybe set when you get into your funding, you can trade 7 micros. We'll bump you up a little bit because you'll have the confidence to know that your system works. You don't need to trade anything else. You don't need to guess. You have a trade plan. You stick to that one specific trade each and every day, and you will make money. Okay. All right. I I would I would like to see that trade because through the overnight, okay, I would say it was what, right around 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Yep. Yep. I see it. Yeah. That's yeah. I mean yeah. I mean it was a one to it was basically a 1-to-1 trade depending on where you put your stop. If you just put it below the 200, then yeah, I mean that was pretty close to a 2-to-1 trade. So I mean I'm not mad at you for that. But yeah, I mean yeah, because I mean at 9 o'clock, I'll yeah, and I'll tell you why you one reason why you won that trade, but also the reason why it's a dangerous trade. Algorithms algorithms run the market, okay? And specifically at 9 o'clock in the morning, there are some algorithms that turn on at that time, okay? So it could have been a push, it could have been a push down, it could have been a push up. You caught the push up, and like I said, I'm not mad at you. That's actually not. No, you did not get lucky. You saw a power bar that broke a previous high that closed above your SMAs. Okay. So I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, if you entered at the end of the 9 a.m. bar, that bar did not close above the 200. Okay. So you really should not have entered the trade at at 9:02. Okay. You should have entered the trade at 9:04. Okay. Because that bar closed above all three of your SMAs. Okay. But when you combine all three of those bars, or even the first two bars, yes, you have a power bar that breaks the previous high and closes above all your SMAs, and then you can take the trade and move up and take it. So it wasn't a bad trade. The time and price need to align. Okay. Trading at 9 o'clock in the morning, that's not the time. Okay. You had the price action, but you didn't have the time and price correlating with each other. Yeah, right. Exactly. So, you know, yeah. Look, look, exactly. That's why you don't trade when you're by yourself. All right. Dude, yeah, I am train I am I am tr I am training you to be your own trader. But you know, when you teach a man to when you teach a man to fish, he can survive for the rest of his life. But it takes a while to learn how to fish. You got to know where to fish. You got to know which bait to use. It takes a while. I am here to hold your hand. I am here to hold your hand until you know how to fish. Okay? So you're not you're not you're not imposing on me in any way. I'm sitting here at my computer every day. just as long, if not longer, hours than you are looking at the markets. Okay. So this is what I do. Don't don't worry about imposing on me. Do not trade without me. You are not, you are nowhere even close to being at that stage. Okay. And like I said, I wish, I wish I could take a student that would absolutely do what I say and not do what I say don't do, because that that trader would become profitable, would become profitable much quicker. But we are human beings. The psychology of trading is one of the hardest things to get through. And you've already proven to yourself that you are going to break rules. Okay. And you've proven to me that you're going to break rules. I already knew you were going to break the rules. I, I, it's there is no single student I know of that any trainer has ever had that didn't break the rules when they weren't with their trainer. Okay. It's just, right. Well, you should. And I'm gonna make you feel, uh, no, no, it's, no, but I, well, and if you let that pressure, act- if you let that, if you let that pressure actually get to you, you will never be successful in trading. Again, we've talked about this before. This is not about the money. This is not about getting to that point. It's a pro, it is a, it is a process to get there. You have to focus on the process, not the outcome. If you focus on the outcome, you will fail. Okay. And uh, so I'm going to put on a golf shirt and I'm going to head to St. John's, um, and we can get some short game practice in. You coming, or are you going to stick it out? No, I mean I'm gonna grab my protein shake, change my clothes, get in something that the golf course will allow me on the course with, um, and then I'll head down there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I also got that other computer bag in my truck for you. So, all right, man. Later. All right, that is it for me today as well, guys. B-Dubs, what's going on, man? We got one trade off the open. It was a good trade. Other than that, I don't expect uh, the- I'm not going to be trading anymore today. I mean, with non-farm payroll coming out tomorrow, I'm just not looking to trade anymore. I really didn't even expect to catch the trade off the open. Um, so I am pretty much going to shut it down and head to the golf course and get some short game practice in today and wait for the numbers to come out tomorrow. Uh, and that'll give us should give us a pretty good trade day tomorrow and next week. Uh, Price movement should start opening up a little bit more, especially for me on the YM because, well, even NASDAQ, I would imagine, earnings season is kicking in. Um, the last 2 weeks of October is big earnings seasons for the YM stocks. So with non-farm payroll out of the way and earnings coming in, we should have some pretty good volatility to be trading. So I'm in no rush to trade today. So I am going to shut everything down on my side. You guys are welcome to stay in, and we will see y'all tomorrow. All right, everybody in YouTube land. I'm sure you heard me talk about the Discord there. Of course you did. So yeah, that was our day today, and you heard my conversation with one of my students that's in the Discord. Uh, Brand new to trading, um, and doing exactly what I knew he was going to do. Uh, he went rogue, took some trades without me. Now I had I gave him his trade setup, and uh, I gave him props. When he went rogue, he he took a decent trade. Wrong time of day, but took a decent trade. The second trade he took today was not his setup and was not a good trade, even though he won money. And that right there is the worst thing you can do to yourself. Trade when you're not supposed to, and it be a winning trade, because that will reinforce the worst habits a trader can have. Okay. I mean, I saw the reversal. It was actually at a level on my charts that when I got the signal to do so, I could have taken that reversal and made more money on the way down than on the way up. But I had already made my money. There was no reason for me to trade again. Okay. Um, Especially when I have a student under my belt that's that's following my lead. Okay. So that'll do it for me today. Um, we'll see everyone tomorrow for non-farm payroll. Should be fun.